And as unusual as this may sound, Japan actually has a minister of loneliness. Yes, you heard me right. Minister of loneliness. It took me 2.5 years. In fact, it took me 2 years and 8 months to make 2 Japanese friends. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Akunna, a Nigerian living and studying in Japan. So guys, if you look at my back, you will see how lonely this road is. So I just finished running an errand, and as I'm walking home, I just thought to make this video. Guys, it's basically about loneliness abroad. I don't even know where to start. Like, I realized it's something people don't usually talk about, and it's a real deal. Like, it's a big one, a big problem affecting people when they migrate or immigrate to somewhere else. It's one of the challenges you face adapting to a new country. So, ordinarily, Japan is a very quiet country. People are very calm over here. So you can imagine how dry the street is. The time here is 4:45 p.m. This is usually a busy time because people pick up their kids from school, people are heading home, some other people running errands, but everywhere is so dry. Like, guys, please, if you have people abroad, always check up on them. It's one of those things we have to deal with. And as unusual as this may sound, Japan actually has a minister of loneliness. Yes, you heard me right. Minister of loneliness. This is one problem that is eating deeply into the Japanese society. So they set up that ministry to help tackle isolation and lonely deaths. In Japan, there's this thing called kodokuchi. I hope I got the pronunciation right. It's like describing the phenomenon of lonely deaths and people not being discovered after they have died in their rooms. Or this is a very common thing, and it's quite sad anyway. I feel so sad for them. So guys, as I was saying, loneliness is a big deal abroad. Like, it took me 2.5 years. In fact, it took me 2 years and 8 months to make 2 Japanese friends, and I actually made them at the same time. So it's not even as if I made them independently. I just met the both of them almost at the same time. This is like, I don't know, it's a crazy thing. And it's not as if the Japanese people are not friendly in this case, but it's just that mostly, anyway, I will speak for myself. From what I've noticed, they are very shy people and very calm, very collected and into themselves. So it takes someone who is very interactive to bring out that social part of them. And this is quite difficult, especially for me who, number one, in my laboratory, we are basically foreigners. So you would tend to, feel more comfortable around foreigners, especially with the fact that they speak English, so you could easily understand yourselves and you have the same challenges. You share similar things being foreigners in this land. So that's why it's quite difficult for me in particular to have a Japanese friend. So guys, let me know in the comment section if you're living far away from home, if you're abroad and you're facing similar challenges of loneliness. What do you think? How have you been coping? What advice would you give to someone who is living abroad or who is planning to move abroad on how to tackle loneliness? So like I was saying, guys, it's really a big deal. I'm not usually the extroverted kind of person per se. I'm more of an ambivert. It depends on where I find myself. It can be very boring as well as exciting depending on where I am and who I'm interacting with. But since I came here, my social life has gone to 0. In fact, I should be in the minus region. Maybe minus 25 by now. Like, everything has gone from 1,000 to 0. I don't just know how to get my groove back on. It's really a struggle. And homesickness is a real thing. So please don't forget those people, your loved ones who are staying abroad. It might look like all is well. Of course, we like to mask our pains, like to mask our struggles, especially if you're coming from a place where it's maybe less developed than where you are. You don't complain too much because people expect that you're living life, you're doing well. So why complain? You shouldn't even make noise. You shouldn't say anything. Please try as much as possible to give them, your people who are abroad, listening ears. It's not always as easy as it seems. So you can imagine if the Japanese are battling with loneliness, how much more a foreigner. I think when I was in the university dormitory, there was this guy. We usually use the same bus time to school. So after a couple of maybe months or something, I stopped seeing him at the bus stop. So I don't know what, something led to something, and when I was discussing with the admin, and we were talking about other foreign students coping and things like that. So she said that somebody just left a few months ago after spending just roughly 3 months in Japan. He came for his master course, and then he spent 3 months, and after that he left. So I was like, why? She said that the guy couldn't cope. He was lonely, he was battling with so many things, depression and the rest of it, because he couldn't speak the language. Then his English, he came from one of these European countries, so his English wasn't really so strong as well. It was basically like a struggle for him to fit in. You don't speak Japanese, so fitting into Japanese community and interacting with the locals is a problem. You don't speak maybe very good or fluent English. Interacting with most foreigners is also an issue. So the guy had to go back home. And honestly, I don't even blame him, because not everyone can cope, especially if you're maybe in a city it's not so bubbling. Like me, I stay far away from Tokyo. I'm not in the countryside, but my city is a very calm place. Yeah, very little foreigners here, but at least I'm happy I have some other Africans I can always interact with. So I don't even miss any gathering or any event that involves Africans. So at least I can just be in a same place at that particular moment. But thanks to COVID, all those gatherings have ended, and it's usually difficult if you move to a country where you have no one, like you literally have nobody to talk to, you have no family here, you don't have like even an acquaintance or even a social media friend in this place you just moved to. So it takes quite some time to really get a hold of yourself and just pass that phase. So guys, if you're planning to move abroad, I just like to keep it real. This is most likely to be one of the things you would face. But like I always say, our experiences abroad depends on so many things. The kind of person you are, the people you meet, and the particular place you are. So our experiences might actually be different from each other. But I know most people can relate with me, because I've spoken to a number of persons here, and they've shared the same thing with me. They've shared the same problem and things like that. So guys, that's it from me today. So don't forget to check on your loved ones who are living abroad. Just once in a while, FaceTime them, video calls, call them, leave them voice notes just to ask how they are doing. It's really a struggle. It takes a lot of courage to open up sometimes, especially if you don't have supportive friends or families back home, or if you have maybe so much responsibilities and you don't just want to appear weak and fragile. So people just bottle it in, and then they end up with depression and all sorts of mental illnesses, just because they're trying to put up that strong face that everything is okay while it's actually not. So guys, this is the end of the video for me. See you in the next one.